we learned that Twitter has deleted more than 10,000 accounts. The reason? Well, they say those accounts were automated and meant to discourage people from voting in tomorrow's midterm election. Okay, most people would say, that's great. If all you want to do is weed out the bots, and the animated systems meant to confuse us, then that's good. But see, here's the problem. Here's the problem when you look at a story like this that we have to analyze and examine, right? Remember what happened when Facebook tried this? Heck, they ended up deleting perfectly legitimate accounts from people who were certainly not bots. So how do we make sure now that Twitter gets this right? What's their model? What are they doing? We decided that we here at RT America needed to find out. So we sent our intrepid RT producer, Michelle Greenstein, to try and figure this out for us. What did you learn?
So it doesn't look great. Twitter claims that these 10,000 accounts were automated, like you said, and that they were engaged in an organized disinformation campaign. I'm totally against that. However, Twitter did not disclose to the public the content of these messages, so we're basically going off Twitter's words.
So let me break this down then with you. So what we're saying is, and you and I agree on this, right? The intent is noble.
Yeah.
If all you're saying is, look, there's a bunch of computers out there and they're getting into the system.
Bots don't want us to vote? No, get rid of those bots.
Get rid of those bots.
100%.
The question is, what is your methodology, and would you please share it with us?
Please share it with us, the public, because Twitter is a huge platform. It's basically a country at this point with the amount of power that it has. So you have Twitter coming out and saying they're doing this noble thing that you and I both support.
Right.
They're against disinformation
So
campaigns.
share the information with us.
Right, but what about the conflicts of interest that Twitter has? There are two conflicts of interest that I think are especially significant. They're partnering with two foreign policy think tanks, the first of which is the Atlantic Council, which is funded by NATO, the State Department, weapons contractors, and oil companies. Put that aside for a second. Another foreign policy think tank that it's partnering with is the National Democratic Institute, also funded by the State Department, and pretty much a front group for the Council on Foreign Relations, another foreign policy think tank.
And nobody here is saying, at least I'm not going to say, that those voices should not be heard. We should probably have many voices heard.
Sure,
and Twitter
let's
should
have
reach
some
out.
hawkish voices.
Reach out to the left, reach out to the right, reach out to the middle. Get as many opinions as you can on what we should do to make sure that Twitter is democratized, and then put them in a bag and sort them all out and deliver them to us. But it sounds like what you're telling us is they're only talking to one side.
Right, and our consent for this only talking to one side has really been manufactured over the past few years over the idea that our elections have been interfered with by a foreign power. Who could be against that, right?
Right.
So now what we're allowing to happen is for our access to information to really come under a stranglehold by these corporate forces with insane U.S. government connections that we should at least know about, right?
Well, you know, what's interesting about this is I think it's not so much about Russia. At least the argument should not be that Russia is trying to do something so much as any country that tries to interfere, and countries interfere with every other country in the world, don't they?
I mean, I gotta say, the U.S. has probably interfered in more elections than any other country to this date. So you gotta always accuse the other side of what you're guilty of, right?
But if what they're trying to say is, well, if Russia interfered, we just have to make sure that Russia doesn't interfere, so we're gonna put all these hawks on this committee because they're all anti-Russia, it seems like that's not fair, because the real question we have to ask is, what the hell does that have to do with elections? What the hell does that have to do with Americans in general?
Exactly. It really has nothing to do with elections, and this entire campaign has really conflated domestic dissent and American citizens being against what our government is doing with our supposed consent with malicious foreign actors.
Let me ask you this. How open, right? How open is Twitter to opening its books and sharing with reporters like yourself so that we can better understand what it is that they're actually going to do?
Not very open at all. So in this case, it did not disclose, like I said, the messages of the accounts that it deleted. So again, we're really just going off of their word.
And who is to trust a company of that size?
Exactly. And if you look at the people it's partnering with, it really seems like they have a vested interest in making sure that the status quo continues.
For political purposes and money purposes as well. Michelle Greenstein, great work. Thank you as usual.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.